That makes sense to me.
yeah. Trying to put the cart before the horse. Yeah.
You are.
Hey, where's my hammer? Yeah, I don't know if we can do that or not, but we'll find out. I mean, I understand. But whether we can legally do it or not.
It would be quite a bit of difference, right? Financially, I mean,
I would double it, do whatever you do.
but I mean, letting them use our stuff for free is kind of a
Thank you.
big expense.
Yeah, you figure we're getting revenue for the kids that are going to school here. You're not.
Right.
No, I agree with you.
And it's not gonna offset the cost, but it might make them have some skin in the game, but you don't have kids just doing it just because.
Thank you, Andrew.
Okay, the meeting will come to order. Pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I please remind you to mute your phones.
You.
Roll call.
I'm here.
Cindy here.
Caroline here.
Justin here.
Tom's here. No, Angel. No, Angel today. Alright. Monthly financial transactions. Anybody have any comments on that? No?
For once,
Okay.
I have a question. We have two water bills. Why is it? You know?
Why do we
Water
have,
bills?
why do
Yeah, we have one meter, I think. We used to.
I think we have two different buildings that are reported.
Is it the elementary school?
I am not aware that.
There's two at high school.
It may be, you need to look at the dates that are on there for the invoice. Yeah, the invoices are dated differently, I believe.
Yeah, sometimes they come
Mhm.
they come in the same way.
But we only have one meter.
Honestly, Ron, I don't know how to answer that question.
It's just a
We'll
curious
look
question.
into
Yeah.
it.
So I mean,
I believe there's two area, that's what the bill says, and then there's one in the elementary building. So I don't know if there's a separate meter for the bus barn or something, but there are two.
Is Clint on?
Yeah. Our fields are watered by the creek, so.
Did we ask Clint to clarify that if need be?
it's just, I mean, I saw it laughing up and I thought,
Yeah,
I will look into it and get an answer back.
I'm just curious.
I know, I'll get it.
That's your
I'll get an answer back to you.
Board minutes from January 15th and December 18th.
it's from the consent agenda and on the minutes on page 3. What? Yeah, it
Page-
says standard 11 for, and this was last month, it was on our review. It said Caroline would like, it should say Caroline would like and not Caroline would lie.
Oh, so that's a typo correction. All right.
Thank you.
I saw that too.
Nah, leave it. I like it.
There's a couple of typos.
Let's wait for some really serious.
Yeah, if we could remove that from the consent agenda and do it
Remove what?
separate.
From the consent
The
agenda.
minutes, because it has to be voted on separately to do the change.
No, we could approve it with changes. We could make that change. So, okay, then let's go
No,
ahead.
This was January.
I know, January's in December for our packet for today.
Yeah.
Because December's had a
Okay,
We had-
so remove January.
I don't want to remove it for a typo.
Okay,
I just want to go ahead and go through with it. It just makes more work for next month. So, move on, resignations. I would say Grace.
I'm making sure you have Grace Matheson, our fifth grade teacher, has resigned. She's currently on leave for some personal medical support. And, we will have somebody finishing out the year for her. Alfredo Maldonado, will resign at the end of his contract year. And Elise Halstead has also resigned, her half-time position for this year.
Add at least.
And she's finishing out the year.
that's-
I would also like to add, after principal, high school or
Okay.
HS, so that,
Got it. Open positions, we remain open with bus driving positions because those are always hard to fill. We could use an additional person as a sub slash, some trip driving. We are putting our, bus drivers through the ringer this year. So we are still looking for positions in that area. We have, elementary teaching positions open, and we have our high school, middle school, principal position open. For new hires, we selected Scott Perkins as an interim vice principal for the middle school and high school until the end of this school year. And, we have hired Amanda Haven, as a temporary fifth grade teacher for the remainder of this school year.
I'm sorry, repeat the one before Amanda.
Scott Perkins as our vice principal at the middle school, high school until we end up, it's an interim position, to support.
Okay, thank you.
so you say Freddie's gonna stay on for the remainder of his contract. Will he be coming back to the high school?
The designated, comeback time is March 1st. Yes,
So he's expected to come back.
yes.
Okay. very good.
And complete out his responsibilities in that area.
Is Joe Morningstar a recent hire as well?
Joe Morningstar, yeah, him. Joe Morningstar was a hire by EduStaff,
Oh, good.
who
Okay.
is our subbing program, and he has been subbing, with us, and it's been doing a really good job stepping in. And, oh, by the way, he told me, learning a lot.
Don't
Okay.
need the same.
Wasn't as easy as he thought it was gonna be, but it sounds like he's having a good time.
Awesome.
So we've been happy to have him, especially for our CTE program. It's hard to find people who are qualified to go in and still support kids in CTE, and he has the qualifications so that when he comes in, we don't have to stop that performance while our current teacher is out. And so, we've been working and training with him a lot so that we can have a more fluid program, if Jack has to be out.
Okay,
I make a motion that we approve the agenda changes.
Cindy second.
all in favor?
Ron,
Cindy, yes.
Ellen, yes.
I'm gonna vote no, because I wasn't here for December's
Well,
minutes.
this is just the agenda changes.
Oh, okay. Yes, Justin, yes, then I'm gonna.
Okay. yeah.
Yes. Now, entertain a motion for the consent agenda approval. Okay, Tom makes a motion, or, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, I can. Yes, just because you're chairman does not negate the fact that you're also a board member.
Okay,
So you can make motions.
okay.
So I move to approve the consent agenda with the changes that Caroline has asked for in her statement. We have a first and a second. Any further discussion? Vote.
Cindy, yes.
Caroline, no.
Justin, no.
Tom, yes. Okay, 3.0, public comments. Okay, we have two from Dina. One is PPC bylaws and info. And the excuse me? Okay. And the second is board positions. Can you give directions on how to apply through the county? Yes, go to the website, your county. Yes, and under elections.
If you'd like to
Okay.
get a hold of me, I would love to send you an application. Okay, you're welcome.
There you go. So go ahead, Dina, you're on for the PPC pirate.
Guys, just, I printed it out for bylaws, and I don't know if you ever got a chance to get it, Tom.
I don't,
This is just so they can look and see, and, you know, if you guys have feedback, I'd be glad to hear it. We also wanted to kind of let the board know what we've done this year. We started off Fourth of July volleyball. They earned about $1,100 and we paid all the five, so they got to keep all that money. We gave $500 to the success for a Christmas program they were doing. We donated $5,000 for chairs in the gym, which goes back to the team. We donated $3,000 to baseball for supplies. We just donated $1,500 to high school wrestling for singlet. And there's been a lot of clubs that have worked in there, and we've donated quite a bit more than what they earned working in there. We'd like to be able to get the word out about the concession stand a little bit more somehow, volunteer sheet and a letter or, you know, something. We had a kid step up last night just to talk about that no club, no nothing. He said, hey, you guys need help? Stayed the whole time. Wonderful. So we just needed that. There are all kinds of things like that.
You raised all that money off the concession stand? You raised all that money off the concession for this year, last year, both years, 2 years now?
I mean, this only includes what we gave this year, so it doesn't, what we gave that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. I offer a sincerest thank you from the board. That is awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, 3.1, we had a book donation last year, reference and resource on the Holocaust.
and that was provided to the social studies teacher and really, really well received and appreciated.
Awesome. Were you able to get a hold of them for the, is she going to be able to visit with students or?
We have not confirmed that yet. No. That was kind of an outreach, overreach. And so at this time, the answer is no. But we're still hoping at some point with somebody so connected within our Glendale community that we'll be able to make that happen.
Thank you.
4.0, 4.1, board reports. Does the board have anything they'd like to share?
I'd like to share a little bit about visiting the classrooms. It was pretty awesome as always when you go into the elementary. It's bright, shiny, colorful. Teachers are absolutely amazing. Kids engaged. I didn't realize we have actually 4 seniors that go to the elementary, which is very, very cool. My time at the high school, I sat in with and on Mary's class, and it was amazing as always. They were working on the propaganda in the 1941 is what they were reading on. Kids were really interested, and a couple had some knowledge of it already, which was nice. John Stott's class was, they were quiet doing their work. I got to enjoy some lab work in Tyler's class. It was fun, kind of gross, but it was fun. Leila was doing open conversation on space and science, which is awesome. It's just, I have to say, a huge difference from the past. There was no cell phone issues that were, I mean, you walked into the class, everybody was engaged. I just want to give kudos to our teachers because it was really fun. It was a fun day. Got to see Susie, you know, doing her sewing class. And even better yet, while she's doing that, then Rebecca's helping somebody do their FAFSA. It's like everybody was doing some neat stuff. So we plan on doing it more often. And I think it's very important. I'd like to get parents involved as well.
Anybody else?
I would like to take my hat off as a school board member and put on CCVCA hat. Because it came to the CCVCA attention and they were not able to be here tonight. We had our chili cook-off that all donations went to the fire department this Saturday. It was a wonderful turnout. But apparently cigarette butts were found in the trash can and also the trash was not taken out. And they would like to apologize profusely. I personally, with the CCVCA, sort of monitor all of the attendees. And apparently what happened was they were smoking outside the gate, put their cigarette butts in their pockets, and then put them in the trash. It was not done in the school area at all. It was outside the gates, even actually across the street. So, and the trash, we have learned that from here on out, we will be dumping our own trash. And again, serious apologies from the CCVCA.
I'm just glad they put the butts in the trash can and not throwing them on the ground.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep. And just so everybody does know, they ended up getting $538 to give to the fire department.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Very, very charitable and worthy organization. Anybody else have anything to say? No, I would just like to say that I sent a letter to our senator, what's his name? No, our Oregon senator for the Senate District 2, Robinson.
Yeah.
No wrong.
Senator Noah Robinson regarding SB 916. And it's nice to know that he is against it. And so you could probably save your letters because he's going to vote against it. Anyway.
I should say I sent one as well.
Oh, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. The more the better, really. But I mean, yeah, he's on board.
Yeah.
Anybody else from the board? Oh, move on to the superintendent.
AFB, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. ASB. Yes, right.
Sorry, I'm late.
No problem.
But
Glad you made it.
last board meeting in January, ASB has postponed our rummage sale, mostly due to weather and some other unseen circumstances. This will be rescheduled to the weekend of March 14th. And then once again, Jesse Jackson, we had to cancel our assembly again because of the 2-hour delay and also an emergency meeting with his tribe. So we did another assembly of just having like games, getting out of class, all that good stuff. And actually went rather smoothly for planning it within like 30 minutes. So I'd say that was a success. Other than that though, Valorgrams went relatively well. We had Maddie Morningstar do the serenades on her ukulele, and then after a little confusion of some of the drama class, they did their skit. Additionally, we had the traditional candy and card, but our historian, Bailey, came up with an idea to sell crushed sodas. They had a cute label on them that says, "I have a crush on you." Oh, I thought that was really pretty.
That's awesome.
My personal favorite was Cupid, though. He walked into the room and just like threw heart-shaped confetti everywhere, and then gave them a little love poem.
I wish we had a picture of
Aaron Martin.
Do you have one?
Oh, I'd
Yeah.
love to see it.
In a tutu.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, keep going. It was a sight to behold.
Lastly, we had winter formal on Saturday where ASB decorated the morning of, which took 5.5 hours to totally decorate it, but it looked so good. And had a white chocolate fountain, which
It didn't quite work so well. Pretzels, chips, and strawberries. All good feedback with many people letting me know just how excited they were throughout the week.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, additionally, the juniors and sophomores are currently working on fundraising for their senior trip. The sophomores did a shoot for soda fundraiser and made much profit. However, I don't know exactly how much they made. Also, juniors are working on a bake sale for March 2nd. Location pending, but we're starting at 9 until we're sold out.
When is the drop off for the rummage sale?
The rummage sale will be 12 to 3 on March
Wait, the
14th.
drop off stuff, was there a day before or?
That's the.
Yeah, the drop off day is March 14th,
Oh, okay, gotcha.
12 to 3.
What was the candy for? Was that for that too, or was that for something else?
The candy grams, yeah, we had, that was part of the ballot.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, the chocolate bars you were
Oh,
selling?
yeah, I think we're sitting at $2,000 now.
But what was it for? Was it?
Oh, it was just for AV in
Oh,
general.
okay.
Get us out of the hole.
All their events, finding their time.
Awesome. Thank you.
And they were
They're doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
They are.
Yeah, I heard through the grapevine, Hazel, that you guys were, with your situation with that cancellation, you were able to pull off it assembly.
Mhm.
So kudos you guys for being able to do that, and get it done.
Thank
Make
you.
it successful.
Right, superintendent.
I'm gonna do a pretty short report. We've got a long agenda, but a couple of things I want to make note of. We have started our second official CNA program. We have 12 students, involved in this program. And, special kudos go out to Susie and Rebecca and the RCC team. We have had over $30,000 in donations for this program. So it's not coming out of our general fund at all.
Pretty awesome.
This pays for all of the supplies, the materials, their college credits, their uniforms, they get special watches to be able to do pulse checks and all of this kind of stuff. We are also now partnering in this with South Umpqua, and we have a couple of students coming down from South Umpqua. We're hoping that if we can continue this partnership, we have sustainability of this program and having it every year for our students. What's really cool about this is a job certificate class, which means when they're certified and take the test and pass the test at 18, they can get a job in this area and support themselves as they progress through whatever life choices that they make. We're one of the only schools in Douglas County right now supporting that on site. And so RCC, great partner. And we're pretty excited. And it was well over $30,000 in donations from different programs.
Awesome.
Do you have a question on that one?
No, I just thought of something
Okay.
I needed to.
This last week, I would like to say I had the pleasure to attend the COSA conference, but it was relating to budgets, relating to federal impacts on some of the stuff coming out of the executive orders and what that could mean for ours. And I would love to say that we had a lot of really good answers at this conference. We did not. There is a lot of angst in the state about the federal appropriations of, and for us, that is IDEA or special education funds. That is appropriations for our food program and our title programs that we're all watching very closely that would impact our bottom line a lot. It's kind of a wait and see model. And so we're kind of all hopeful as they now disband different departments that they keep the funding source within other departments within the federal government. The state budget won't be out until closer to March. And so we're still waiting on those numbers. We are projecting right around 10.3, or I'm sorry, 11.3. And ironically, that doesn't increase our overall budget a whole lot across the board. And, so there's a lot of factors getting to be put into play that are going to come at us somewhat rapidly when they decide that they need to come, and that we're watching very closely. I can't say there was a lot of hopefulness at this COSA conference. Normally, they're very upbeat and it's fun to go to because everybody's looking and planning for the future, and there's a lot of districts that are very worried. We're pretty stable right now, but we're going to take some hits this year. And I'm already meeting with my admin teams and my directors and talking about ways that we can shore up our spending in each one of those departments. Because over the long run of this biennium, we're going to have to look at where we make cuts. My intent is always to keep our kids' program safe and secure. And so we're going to have to tighten our belts in a lot of areas. Over the last two and a half weeks, we've really seen a general uptick in some behaviors that we're working on. I've been talking to a lot of different kids on what they're seeing and why. Just a lot of angst and anxiety, a lot of not so great interactions with kids. And so we're kind of processing where we're getting this from. We've been pretty stable up until now, but the last couple of weeks we've seen a general uptick at both the elementary and the high school on some behaviors. And we're trying to figure out different activities or different motivations that we can be putting in place that maybe can stabilize those. We've had a increase over the last 2 weeks, not in classroom, but in school use of cell phones, passing halls, that kind of stuff, and outside use of cell phones, Snapchat, and those behaviors affecting what is happening at school. And so we've talked about a little bit, and we're trying to come up with maybe a parent night that we can hold that could maybe teach parents a little bit about putting restrictions on a few phones, because the access and what they're saying and how they're saying it is very detrimental. And so we're just kind of looking at our resources and where we can help support parents, because a lot of the impact, especially at the high school, has been outside of school, but it's brought into school with anger and frustration. And then we're dealing with the outcome of all of that. So finally, we are working on the integrated plan. It's re-upped. It's going to be available March 1st. And looking at how those budget areas will help support us in some of the areas that we're going to be struggling in our general fund. Most of those are already currently targeted. And so it's like, we're just making sure that we're spending our money really effectively in our SIA, student investment account, in our high school success grant, in our early literacy grant, and our EIBS, which is our early intervention support. So as we start building our program for next year, this is the first year that we're going to start tightening up a lot in what we're doing and how we're spending. And I just want people to be very prepared for that. I've been talking about it for a while, like we were going to have to do it, but it's here. So.
Luckily, we're not in the position that a lot of other schools find themselves in right now.
Yeah.
So it'll hurt a little bit, but it's not going to be devastating.
I hope.
We hope.
I hope. We are going to be in negotiations for the next 2 years on contracts, and some of that affects what we're doing. So, and
A lot of unknowns.
lots of unknowns.
Lots of
Yeah,
unknowns.
lots of unknowns. All right. That was it.
Elementary report.
Just things to add in my report, I'll get the I-rated data in a moment, but just want to thank the elementary team. With sicknesses going around, we're rolling with students being sick, but also staff children being sick. And I just want to applaud the efforts of the staff to cover for each other. I haven't heard any complaints about them spreading folks thin. and they show up to work in the morning and they don't know if they're going to preschool or fifth grade or wherever. And then special thanks to Randy Callahan, and she and I have been tag teaming teaching fifth grade this week as we onboard a teacher and had one exit for medical. And so, anyway, no complaints. Randy and I have been teaching fifth grade. It's been fun. And then just iReady looks really promising in a lot of areas. I'd say like there's certain students or groups that we as a team are looking at how do we help, these students continue to improve. But I put in my report, attendance is looking great. We only have 11 students at the elementary who attend less than 85% of the time. So working with those 11 students and their families on how to get them to school more often. It is hard because if a kid goes out on medical for 2 weeks or something, that really knocks down their attendance rate. So correcting some of those things to get them at school and learning. We are about 50% growth average on our students on iReady. So if you're looking for 100% growth by the end of the year, at the end of the semester one, we were at 50%, which tells me we're on track. We still need to push, and the end of the year gets crazy. So a lot of that learning it needs to continue to happen. But it's really awesome to see, for example, like a fourth grade student came in this year reading and doing math at about a first grade level. And then halfway through the year, now they're at a third grade level. And so
Wow.
iReady still shows, well, they're not quite at grade level yet. And so that kind of knocks down your big numbers. But as you read that data inside the data, you go like, wow, that kid grew by 210% in math and reading. So looking at that and working with our Title I teacher, Kate, on Dibbles, she's always thinking, how do we improve? How do we, it's not enough. We can eat more and more and more, but we're doing great down there on some of those things. We just need to continue to kind of execute and push and keep instruction going despite the real sickness the last 2 weeks. So those things, they can disrupt learning. So I have to take questions if you have.
Were you gonna do the iReady data now?
I'm gonna do that. Is it?
You're
That's
gonna
the-
do that later? So, okay.
Yeah, that's
so-
the district.
All right.
one.
I just read-
my overview. That's what I have to say.
Okay. All right, I didn't know.
Obviously, we've all been focused in on iReady.
High school principal report.
Just to add that, the report was written up about a week ago, and in that week, we had another dozen or so, which was really rough. Kind of felt like whack-a-mole, really, like one issue after another after another. Really, been very hectic. As Bridget said, since we started the new semester, it just seems like a lot of eggs going around and a lot of outbursts. Mix of cyber with the league and just a lot of information like that really just come out of nowhere. And we've been working with students, communicating with parents. A lot of positive feedback on our communications, on the plans that we've made to address things. And we've made, it's so far, we don't have a lot of repeat offenders. It's kids that do something and then that's it. We don't see them again very often. So it's been a lot of kids that are doing these for the first time. So it's kind of an interesting experience last month or so, but it's last week. And
Can I ask real quick, does it seem like it's targeted against any certain thing or anything?
oh, it's
Okay,
felt random.
okay.
Yeah. And it's been interesting, myself taking on the vice principal role, and having some of those additional duties. Staff have been really great about working with me, classified staff, our instructional aides, we've adjusted schedules. We made a whole new schedule for them for the second semester that has worked really well so far, making sure that we are clear on breaks, lunches, sequence, and that worked very well today when we had a classified sub in today. We just handed them the sheet. Here's the IA schedule. You're arguing today, and you just follow their line through the whole document. It's very simple, and they appreciated the clarity of that information. So I'm glad that we are able to kind of convey some of that communication and improve that.
We did shift at the semester to the full-on block schedule, back to what we were doing last year. I've been checking in with students regularly. They seem to like it a lot better now. It seems to make more sense to them. And so, with the snow days that have happened, we've been kind of been off on our rotation a little bit. This was our first week getting really back into, some of those classes, but I've appreciated, because I really wanted to make sure that what we were doing made sense to the kids, and they have been really responsive to the schedule format that we're using. So, but it has been a rough couple of weeks, but there's also a lot of really good things going on. Our wrestlers did an amazing job last night. Our high school wrestling team, it looks like we're projected to have 4 of our boys go to state. Yeah, and compete at state, like they're ranked pretty high in those areas. We have, I think, 18 kids, 17 kids, 18 kids signed up for our baseball team. One of our newest students who came to us, first thing is like, I want to be on the baseball team. And it's like, he hasn't played baseball very much, so we're going to support him a little bit. But it's nice that those things are being developed. A shout out to the Power Club. They're going to take on the mid-year sports banquet for us and provide the food for that. Like, the teams are working really well. It's just figuring out where the angst is coming from and supporting our kids in a positive way. And we're having some good conversations with kids right now, but we still don't have our entire finger on it. I'd like you guys to know that.
Just want to say, Scott, I commend you for your attendance rates. They're looking real good here. You're in the 80s,
Hi.
really looking good. And the number of Fs have dropped. So shout out to the teachers and what you guys are doing over there. It's really, really good. And I'll just leave it there. But yeah, very good job. Anyway, 4.6 business manager. I had a question, Angie, regarding the first page here under revenue summary. And when you go down to projected revenue with encumbrances, you have, what's I looking at? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was fine. Coming down to miscellaneous revenue, down under 32,500 budgeted, collected 31,033, and you have 103% of budget. Oh, okay, it should be like 95. I figured it out. Okay. All right. I was like, okay. Oh, thank you.
Tell you either,
Threw
did
the dog a bone.
I do have a question real quick on our meal audit. What was the financial issues that they referred to? You know, the way financial issues that they referred to. It was in section 8 of the meal audit that we had. I got it.
Oh, the food service?
Yeah, on
audit?
the food service audit. They said that there was a issue.
Do I have that document? Or are you reading something?
I can pull it up real quick, yes.
I think I know what you're talking about, but I won't
Okay.
speak out. I don't think we have that document.
Okay. Thought it makes sense.
Because there were, oh, okay, I know, I'm gonna go ahead and speak to it.
Okay, good.
So we had signed up for the extended meals. When they were instituted prior to my administration, they were set up as an extension of our sports program so that we could provide meals for our athletes. And there has to be an educational program and we had them do a time of homework during their practice.
Yeah.
They said that that was not technically legal, that we had to have an open program that wasn't specifically targeted in that area.
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
Because this, and they only audited this year, the meals that they served were not covered under this program and we were not utilizing that program any further.
Okay,
Okay, and
Thank
so we were not financially fined. There was not a financial impact to us, but if we had gone further, there would have been.
okay, thank you.
Okay. So, yeah, but it was the way we had set up and introduced the program, which was set up prior to us. I thought we were technically doing it the right way.
Okay,
And they said we had to open it up to the whole community.
understood. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And so we realized what we were doing wrong and we're no longer going to be fined on that one.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, are there any other questions regarding the business manager's report? If not, we'll move on. We've got special education and, yeah, I was just gonna say, Angela, when you come, I'd like to ask you if you have anything to add. All right, very nice, thank you.
I am going to add one component to our special education program. As we start planning for next year, right now we have a DLC program at our high school for our significantly impacted students with disabilities. We have not had one for the last year at our elementary. We will be looking at establishing another DLC program next year to support some of our incoming preschoolers to our program. And I just want the board to know that that's another component we will be adding on into the elementary program next year. We have, I believe, 3 students that are coming in that are going to need extended supports.
All as kindergartners or different grade levels?
I'm going to choose not to be very specific.
No, it's fine. It
Yeah.
They said there was 3 in the kindergarten. I don't know if those 3 are gone.
Not all 3 of those will be in there, but we have other student, and we have other concerns that we're looking at.
Gotcha.
And we're projecting 3 in that program right now.
They don't have an athletic director's report, but go ahead, Devin. since you're- I'm sure.
I got it.
Oh,
I got it.
So
oh, okay.
Good luck.
There it is.
Things I'd add, Bridget mentioned last night, we had a really awesome, we hosted the middle school wrestling tournament, for the Little Bird League, which brought about 100 wrestlers. And,
It was
about
packed.
9:45 last night. But the high school wrestling team, Bridget mentioned how much success they're having. They have their district wrestling tournament this weekend. And they gave up a day of practice to come help us run the tournament. And they were just all over, and at the end of the tournament, they were up in the bleachers, getting all the garbage out without being asked, just to helping and social staff members. The high school wrestling team and the other students that helped just knocked it out of the park. Really want to thank them because they didn't have to spend their time
That's cool.
supporting the middle school students. So that was great. And it was great to have a big wrestling tournament back. We had 2 mats running at the same time. And then when it got down to finals, we brought up the 1 mat underneath the light that Clint and Jack hung down for us. The middle school got to do their final championship match under the lights. A few hundred people in there watching wrestling. So it was pretty awesome. On top of that, baseball, softball schedules are 95% done. I mentioned that. Track is pretty much done as well. We won't have a home track meet this year, but we'll be co-posting with Camas Valley at Camas Valley on a new rubberized track. We're going to provide some manpower for them at a middle school meeting. So I also gave you baseball uniforms. Those are ordered. It should be here anytime. Baseball and softball. So I can go ahead and do uniforms. So that the boys are that first front back, and the girls are that second page. So the kids gave some input, sat down with coaches, got their order in, came in under budget. The other thing I'd add, I did send a report, but just for the public, we approved up to a certain amount for the high jump pit, that 10 or 12,000.
Wow.
Well, we came in just over 6,000 for the high jump pit, just from shopping around. We're gonna reuse some of the hardware we have, so that saved us both the cost of the hardware and the cost of shipping hardware. So we ended up bringing that cost way down, so.
Thank you.
That should be here at any time, or we plan for storage and, it'll be good.
Nice.
You know, we had taken your pay to play off of this month and we will put it on next month. But you've handed these out. Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about it so we'll have something to look at and be ready to go for you next month, okay?
What percentage of the kids is that?
About 50.
About 50?
A little over 50, yeah, probably 60%, of the students. That,
Can I ask you how you're gonna make the cut? I mean, how you're gonna decide who pays and who doesn't? Well, who's eligible for the discount?
well, that, there's, yeah, so, I wanted to explore this as, is this something we want to pursue? And then I could put together a formal language, because do you want a family discount would be my question. Do we want to do pay to play? So, I felt like I was asked specifically for what would the financial impact do. Kind of looking at the macro level. So if we charge $25 a sport, which was a number that was thrown out, and we had every student pay for every sport at $25, so you'd look at about $75 a year for our students that play 3 sports, which most of our students. That income would look like 56.25 if you selected all of that, which it would not. I would figure between 50 and 75% is probably where we'd be as far as collection goes. If we were at $50 a student, that would be just over that $11,000 if you collected all of it. So just, that's kind of an overview. Concerns I have, tracking who paid and didn't pay, making sure that there's not some students that get away with not paying if they can, but also that we don't want to burden families that really can't afford it. I don't want a kid to not come out for a sport, because a lot of our families, or a lot of our kids that maybe can't afford it, are the kids that I think really need to be engaged in the after-school activities. And we've been really successful at getting a lot of our students out and engaged this year. I'd like to see that continue. I do think we have a fraction of students that we need to find what their activity is and click them with it. It's not all sports, and I think that there's some kids that are still looking for that thing, don't quite have it yet. So that's, it's kind of an overview of the pay to play. I did put some other just discussion points that go in there. Cindy asked me specifically how much we spend on extra duty contracts, and I got that number from Angie, and that's on there. So that's about $153,000 we spend on extra duty contracts every year. About 39,000 of that is PERS costs. So that's assuming that everyone who is an extra duty is a PERS member. Some of them are not. We have community members who coach that are not on our staff that aren't already PERS members. This year, I was asked specifically why did we go over a little over budget on athletics this year. Some factors. When I got hired in the position, it was really clear to me that I was being asked to go schedule more games, right? A lot of our schedules, we were playing at about half the strength that we can. So we're playing roughly twice as many games in almost all of our sports, which has brought up the cost of officials, the cost of transportation. The officials have gone up significantly, and that will continue to go up, I think 10 or 12% next year, is what they're looking at for officials costs. We didn't budget for some of the programs that we added. So we had a girls cross country coach this year that got added last spring before I came on.
a middle school cross country program and middle school wrestling were not budgeted for. And then because of our participation in high school basketball, we have an additional assistant position. Those were things that weren't necessarily budgeted for last year that came out. We're looking at right now, we're a little under $5,000 over budget on athletics. We also ended up paying a coach out of this year's budget that because they didn't get paid last year. So that $5,000 is most of having to pay for something that cost that was incurred last year. So we're right around where we're budgeted right now to deliver the program we're delivering this year at this level. I think that as we budget, we'll have conversations around things like, what happens if our kids get to the basketball playoffs at Baker and we incur a $6,000 cost of heading that direction. Some of that gets reimbursed by OSAA, but not all of it, right? And that's not things that we're planning, getting our uniforms from a better cycle, things like this $6,000 high jump pit. Just there's costs that come with running a program that what I call maybe deferred maintenance, things that we just keep kicking the can on. So those are all things that go into the pay to play. I would say that the money we can collect from pay to play is not nothing, but it's in the realm of $3,000 to $8,000. It's not a massive amount.
We'll be sure to take that up next month, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for the info. Okay, any questions on anything else that we have? Food service, transportation?
I have a question on transportation.
Uh-huh.
I just want a clarification, on the report. Look up here, sorry. On the report, it says that, snow on the 3rd was a bump.
Yes.
During the pull out of 9, there was some damage, not body, but I have reached out to Jerry and Ashland. What does that mean?
So our
The
bus,
same question. My question too.
okay, Jerry and Ashland is the guru for all bus things. I'm gonna tell you, Ashland, they have supported us in ways that you guys can't imagine with our bus service.
Yes.
I can't speak highly. They don't charge us any staffing fees. And they help us, maintain right now. We're also looking at other alternatives, with a more local program, so that we're more consistent within our region, but we'll get into that when we have bigger talks. The snow on the 3rd, that was the snow route where, we had a bus go up Windy Creek and turn around, and there was a patch of ice on the ground and it slid the bus and it hit a tree branch and put a dent in our bus.
Okay.
And so there was, when she said it was a bump,
Yeah.
it really is a bump. It wasn't an accident, but it dinged our bus up.
Then it said there was not body, some damage, not body.
Exactly. Some damage, like there's a little divot by the light. It's pushed in, but it's
So
not,
there is body damage, but
I
not,
guess it would be
but not
like,
human body damage.
well, there's not human body, nothing. in human body.
I would hope we've got a 911 on that one.
Yeah, but we're thinking body damage to where we can't move.
Okay,
gotcha.
It's
Oh, it's not
more-
disabled.
No, it's more aesthetic at this
Okay.
point.
Would you call it a
Okay.
dig?
Yes, it's more aesthetic than it is anything else. Um,
Like when I ran my pickup into that pole, the whole
Yeah.
side caved.
yeah, that's not what we have.
Okay.
But our bus department
Right.
with the bus breaking down in Redmond and the snow and a couple stuck points took a few hits this month that we're hoping have stabilized at this point. But
I just wanted clarification because it wasn't making sense to me.
you know, I know what happened in this.
I assumed
That's why you were asked.
It was a miss
Yeah,
Yeah,
together.
yeah, I was just confused because it said no body, but we brought it to Ash, and I'm going, if there wasn't body cameras.
Yeah.
Why, yeah, so
What did,
I was confused.
what did you mean by actually the chart of staffing?
So if we take our bus down to staffing, they don't don't charge us personnel costs. They just charge us physical parts.
They don't charge labor? Okay.
Thank you. That was the better word. That's the
So-
mechanic word.
So,
Mine is staffing.
so we're doing our own annuals, but like.
Yeah.
We take the bus down there to get checked out. They're only charging us parts, they're not charging us labor.
Yeah. And the person that has been doing most of our support right now is on leave that we have
Yeah.
in-house. And so, yeah, they are, they give us a really good deal and they have supported us a lot.
That's always been a question of mine, is how much our transportation costs have gone up because we're not doing our own in-house mechanic work.
Right now, it would appear that they've gone down a little bit because they're giving us such a
Good deal.
one of the things about the Redmond deal, they wanted almost $9,000 to fix our vehicle that went over,
They got broke down.
that got broken down. We had them complete the part that would get us running and get us back. And Ashland is gonna fix the remainder part for less than 1,000. Or right around
If
1,000.
you talk to Nina, he worships this Jerry, like,
Oh, I knew that.
and,
Yeah.
yeah,
But I mean, it's like when they took a look at the cost that they were charging us. And, you know, by the way, they had us over a barrel. I'm not.
Yeah.
Happens.
But we did tell them we're spending, I think it's right around $3,000 for them to get it to the running point for us to get it back. And then they're gonna be around 1,000 something in that area to fix the other part that they said has to be fixed. And it's just, I hate maintenance costs, by the way. But yeah, you get sucked in on places like that.
Oh, yeah. And labor's expensive.
And labor is heavy. And that
That
was most of the cost
Oh.
of the fix.
But Ashland's not charging labor.
Not at this point. We've got a good friend and we don't want to make them mad.
No. On the food service report, there is the results of the audit.
Okay, okay.
And would you just briefly talk on those 5 points?
Okay.
Like we were
the
not
first one-
correctly taking attendance for our programs. What, can you
So
explain
that
that?
is the after-school program. Again, this whole audit that they're reviewing is that one after-school program. And so
You mean to give the kids sandwiches?
after school for lunch or for sports and
Uh-huh.
sport, yeah.
On
That-
on the
that's-
bus, yeah.
couldn't even do snacks, right?
No.
They took everything out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
So they,
Want to do it? They can.
we filled out a corrective action and none of this is being held against us. Because we're not doing that program, because of the way it was outlined. And so, and then it says, we did not open lunches to those that were not attending sports activities. That is true. We thought that it fit under that category. It's designed for multiple enrichment activities, which we don't have going at this point. So because we don't have alternative enrichment activities, we close that down. I'm going to tell you not correctly taking attendance for our programs. That was, they would make the programs and give them to coaches, and all the coaches need to cover their ears right now because this is not a criminate. But then the coaches weren't bringing back who actually had lunch. And we were having that difficulty as well. On the menus, they were getting very picky on like what kind of bread we were using or what kind of stuff, which also increased our overall cost, which they didn't cover in some of those areas. They gave us a set fee, but all of the ingredients that they wanted us to be using made it go much higher. And they kept saying we had the civil rights statement on our website. By the way, that's been there since last year in our audit. And I showed it to them 3 times. And so
It's there.
it is there.
I
It
looked
is
it up.
there.
Yeah.
So this has been taken care of again, but when that was part of our audit last time, we got the language directly from them and we have posted it. So they also wanted specific, it says staff was not trained on meal requirements. They wanted specific staff assigned to the logistics of just what was required in that program. And for them to be working at a separate time than our regular staff. That was my understanding. So we're not doing this program right now until we can get until and if and when we can get our ducks in a row. It's not cost effective for us to follow the guidelines that they're given.
Okay. But there was no fiscal ramifications, which is
No
nice to
fiscal
see.
ramifications.
All right. Okay. New business, 5.1 ASB yearbook ad. What is the cost for that ad space?
There are tiers right here.
Right there on the, what they said.
You keep turning.
$30, quarter page 50, half page 100, full page 200.
I think we usually do a half page, don't we?
Yes, we did.
It's fine with me.
Make a motion
We
that,
got a program, don't we?
yeah, I make a motion that the school board ourselves, not the school, that we as a school board pitch in for a half page for an ad of congratulations to the class and the yearbook.
$100.
$100, so it'll
20
be
bucks a
split
piece.
between 5.
I have a first, do I have a second? I have first and second, further discussion, vote.
Anya?
Cindy, yes.
Caroline, yes.
Justin, yes.
Tom, yes.
Who do we need to get the money to? You? The money goes-
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, no, give it to me and I will get it to them because they need a lump sum.
okay.
They don't need a,
Correct.
All right, staff recommendations, renewal of probationary teachers' contracts.
Okay. So last year, we looked at this as all one lump sum up to the administrative contracts. Would you like me to do that again so that you're doing one vote?
Yes.
Okay. So here we go. The following licensed probationary teachers are offered a one-year renewal for the 25-26 school year. It will be moving Kyle Crane into year 2, Jeffrey Hall, James Duden, Jack Marvin, Abigail Morningstar, and Olivia O'Ray. Into year 3, it would be Tabitha Maldonado and Lisa Shu. TSPC licensed educators moving into probationary 3 to contract status, Layla Burrows, Lindsay Wilbur, Tyler Long, and Susie Snelling. The following teachers and educators offered a 2-year contract extension: Catherine Bowers, Christy France, Austin Lawrence, Randy Callahan, Jason Haggard, John Stott, Angela Deere, and Mary Holes. Those are the teachers. The next one is the administrators. Would you like to vote on that separately or continue?
let's do.
Continue.
Continue,
Okay.
wouldn't you?
The following
You know.
probationary administrators are offered a 1-year renewal. Into year 2 would be Mr. Devin Hunt. The following TSPC licensed temporary teachers are non-renewed without prejudice due to their temporary status, which would be Amanda Lawrence. This holds nothing against her as far as her career. It's just that we're recognizing it was a temporary status. And administrators on a non-renewed without prejudice would be Scott Perkins, as we have had the agreement that the principalship, or the vice principalship would be to the end of this fiscal school year. And also holds no negativity within our contract with Scott. We have it written into the contract that he will move back to the dean position at the completion of his service that he's providing for us now.
Can you clarify TSPC?
Teacher Standards Practice Commission.
Thank you.
It's the licensing board.
Also, I know that some of our teachers were working towards their teaching licenses. Has that happened?
Right now, oh, yes.
Okay, okay. Okay, that's all I needed.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
We have 3 or 4. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 right now on this list that are continuing within that practice and are meeting the requirements
Okay,
of moving forward as expected in obtaining those licenses.
okay, that's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2025-2026 licensed personnel action recommendations. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the 2025-26 licensed personnel action for all 6 categories.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Cindy second.
Okay, any further discussion? Vote.
Anya,
Cindy, yes.
Sterling, yeah.
Justin's gonna abstain. My wife's to that list.
oh, shoot, should I?
Tom, yes.
You're fine.
No.
Go to 5.6, the budget calendar.
It's the need to do pay the same. Based on last year's budget committee calendar, I do have 2 budget committee meetings that May 7th and May 14th. If those don't work, now's the time that we can come up with a different date, but those were the.
I was going to say that May 14th is not a good day for me, but it doesn't mean that it has to be moved. I just would not be able to attend that day.
How about the 7th?
I could do actually the 12th, 13th, 15th, or 16th.
Can you do the first meeting date of the 7th?
Let me look. I think it was, hold on. I think
I should understand.
7th.
I can verify.
I think Wednesdays and Fridays
Why
are
we
better
have
for
you
me,
guys
'cause I
back?
think baseball games are Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays usually, but I can't.
Every day you got.
I have another budget meeting on the 7th. Sorry. I have a budget meeting on the 7th. I have one on the 14th already. That's been approved and everything with different organizations.
How about the rest of you?
That's just me.
No,
So,
I understand.
My calendar.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't like June and July, but we'll be gone.
Well, let's look at the first meeting first.
We have to do the budget first meeting today, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So May's for,
Does that work for you?
So
I think so, but I'd like Caroline to at least make one of them.
the 14th is the only one that I
You
can't
can
be
make the
at.
7th one?
No,
Oh,
Hmm.
you
No.
can't make either one of them.
well,
Well,
no,
This-
the 7th wasn't on there.
May 7th is the.
May
first
7th right
budget
here.
Oh,
meeting.
well, no, I can't then.
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's the
Okay.
Glendale School Board on the 7th. Never mind. Yes, I'm good with that one. It's
Perfect.
just the 14th that I can't be on.
Okay.
And I will say,
And that's a
Sorry.
the 14th,
questionable meeting.
yeah, the 14th is
Right.
if needed. You guys had requested 2 last year. It doesn't mean we have 2.
So we'll know on the 7th,
We will know on the 7th whether,
and then we can adjust so that it works for you, right?
Okay,
Well, you can't adjust them, right? 'Cause once they're posted, they're posted.
Yeah, once it's posted, it's
That's
posted.
true.
we do have the availability depending on how far in advance to adjust the calendar. And that's the other thing. I know later on in your agenda, there is discussion about June board meetings. So,
this should not be affected by that.
I don't know if it's June 18th. So again, just know this is proposed if you approve this with the one
Yeah.
change, but we can adjust it.
Okay.
Next month.
I put it on the 18th anyway, so.
So you want to go ahead and.
I am
this
good
then?
on the 7th, it's just the 14th. It's that, yeah.
and that's only if needed.
Put Glendale And I didn't put school board. I was thinking it was a city, but it's not. So I'm good.
So I move to propose the budget calendar 2025.
Oh, I got one more question. Were you,
I was putting the change in there, but
I thought you
Go
were making a motion. I'm sorry.
yes, I was.
Okay, it says June 19th is budget hearing and regular board meeting at 6. But I have the 18th.
She said that was
She
a
just
typo.
said
That was
That
the
was the
typo. Gotcha.
It's supposed to be the 18th.
That's,
Okay, we're good. So do we want to go ahead and adopt the budget calendar
I move
for
that we,
May 7th and the rest of the dates as is on here, the sheet?
I move that we accept the proposed budget calendar 2025 with the change of the June 18th instead of the June 19th.
I second.
Good, we have first, second. Oh,
Yes.
Caroline, yes.
Justin, yes.
Tom, yes. Snow makeup day, March 21st.
This is just notification to the board. You know, I always plan, 2 days within the calendar that give us some flexibility. We took one of those flex days at the beginning of our school year for, an emergency. And, then we had 2 additional snow days that were assigned within this last week. Our first official day of makeup is the March 21st, which is the day I would like to propose that we make up. Oh, that just sounded.
Should put 2025 in there, right?
2025, yeah.
Okay,
Um,
good.
Do what?
I just said, okay.
All right.
Yeah, that sounds good.
We only have one to make up, right?
We only have one because I have,
So far.
there will be no more, Justin.
We only have one.
We only have one.
Oh. Oh.
If you people knew the tracks that I walk in the wobbly every time we have to make these. And how many times I walk up and down my hill to look at Start Out Creek to see if it's safe.
Well, I'll tell you, for those snow days, you made the right decision. You
Yeah,
made the
you
right
did.
decision.
It stressed me out, people.
Yeah.
All right, so.
All right, 5.9, the 2025-2026 local services. I'm sorry, the proposed calendar for 2025-2026 school year.
So here is the proposed calendar to be looking at. You will notice that I have focused in on getting out in June as early as possible. We have been finding that our June time is pretty stressful. We see a lot of absenteeism. We see, and so I'm trying to align up with also some other districts that are getting out way before we are so that we can keep our numbers going. I did a survey this year with staff. I'm going to ask them if they liked the survey. We tried to set up 2 meetings and they got postponed because of different stuff, including the snow. But asking questions about what they liked and disliked, and met with several people from the community standpoint. I asked a few of our students what they liked about our calendar, what they did not like about our calendar. So I think I got more input on this. The teachers really focused in on maybe stacking some of our Fridays into the beginning of the calendar. What I chose to do was stack them at the beginning of semesters because that equals out our semester times. One of the layers that you have to look at is where your quarters land. And if I'd stacked all of our Fridays in September and October, our semester would have landed like the first week in January, which is not conducive to what we need to get done. And so I did the best I could there. It was reported by parents in November and teachers that they liked the November 6th and 7th conference day, and I'm looking at nodding. And so I worked on keeping at that. It was across the board. Everybody talked about liking the week off at Thanksgiving and not having those stressors and that are associated with going to school and then trying to get to family. So I honored that as well. This represents an equal section of time for each semester and pretty equal sections of time for each quarter. I think I'm at a 30 and a 41, or not a 30, a 38 and a 41 on one, just because of where the Fridays landed for the grading days. On here, I also have our PD days. I will put the caveat on one or two of those might change because we're trying to line up with the ESD to provide opportunities for professional development with our colleagues up north in Douglas County. And until I do that, I'm not putting on the snow days and the extra days that we're going to need if we have to cancel for 3 days next year.
I am going to say that I reached out, and I don't know if you saw the email or not, but she did. And there was, if you look at the tags of the school days and the makeup days, if needed, those colors are sort of, they're almost
Okay.
the same and they're
And-
mixed up, I
Yeah.
think.
Well,
So
this
I
one,
think-
makeup days is pink. We'll change that.
Thank you. Okay, I was gonna say.
I
can we
haven't put
can we
the
change it
makeup
to
days on here.
Totally different colors so
Yeah,
that we
we
can
will.
actually see.
I realize that this is on the website, but does this go home to all students as well?
At the beginning of the school year, yeah.
Okay.
You're not taking nice.
Well, we actually develop a student calendar
It's on there.
for parents and families. You're right. So they're based on this approval, we build a classified, a student, an administrative, but everything is based on the license calendar. So yes, a version of this.
I just had a parent ask because of the dividing of splitting a child.
Yeah.
Court,
Yeah.
court stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we try to hand that out at registration at the high school and at the elementary as well. And there are always copies of this in the office for them. You will notice that I put graduation on the 27th, and I will be changing that color as well because that's the same color as our grading day. But graduation then would be on the 27th. I'm sorry.
Of May.
27th.
I'm sorry, I'm going to May.
Oh.
Graduation would be on the 29th of May. I went up instead of
Oh,
sideways.
okay, so we're awesome.
Yes.
Okay,
That'd be
yeah.
earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I
Yeah.
like it, yeah.
Do we not do President's Day? Is that not a thing anymore?
All right.
So
Be
here's the gift.
Was-
If I do President's Day, we're doing another Friday. And I have no skin in this game. But it just means that there is another day somewhere on this calendar that we're putting.
I
a student
actually
day.
thought it was a makeup day. That's what
Yeah.
I told somebody, so I will have to correct that.
So currently, there is no requirement in any contract that we honor President's Day as a release day for staff.
And federal, you do not have to.
Martin Luther King Day, no President's Day.
Martin Luther King Day is within a contract. And I'm required to do that.
There was more than one kid, I think, absent on Monday because of the
Oh,
President's Day.
yeah. Our attendance wasn't as bad as you would think, but, I would
It's
also
been out
say
of
this
work.
calendar has been out for over a year. But that being said, if the board wants me to honor that day, it would be a released, non-paid day for staff. I'm happy to do it, but I will be moving that day somewhere else in the calendar as another work day.
Well, what does the staff want?
What does the staff want? You guys get a vote. They're quiet.
I mean, I'm good
Huh?
with whatever they want.
So elementary is saying sort of work. What is secondary?
We're over
on attendance, and if you move that to a Friday, those are attendance days.
Yeah.
So I think attendance is the why, but,
So let's go with it. Keep it the same.
Leave it as is.
I just,
Leave it as is.
I mean, you're gonna take the pain somewhere.
Well, they are, we're not. So I mean, it's whatever they want, right?
I'm there.
I do.
Parents are.
That's
Yeah.
true. A parent.
I have to tell
It
you,
is.
several parents commented on the fact that they were really glad that they took their kids to school and they had a day to themselves.
Perfect. A win-win for everybody.
Like,
We're good.
you would be surprised at how many parents said that.
I just heard some that said they kept their kid home because of the President's Day.
Yeah. And we tried to,
Knowing
We
that.
sent out a
it's
night
school.
alert.
yeah, we sent out an
Morning,
alert.
everybody.
We try to get our calendar out early. Honestly, until that week, I hadn't heard that anybody had an issue with that.
it was that weekend, everybody's like, well, we have school, so then we sent the Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I called her too.
And I-
I thought, we were-
And again, I'm happy to move the day, but
There was no lunch Monday.
Oh,
That
oh.
would be a mistake.
Yeah.
Well, no, it just wasn't posted on the
Yeah.
lunch calendar.
yes.
No, I mean, there was no lunch scheduled for that day.
No
Like,
food.
The lunch calendar said no school President's Day.
like,
Oh,
Oh,
oh, that's good.
I did not catch that one.
Yeah.
okay, okay,
A new menu was sent home and the correction was made, but that's, I mean.
okay,
It
gotcha.
didn't
At
make
the
it.
elementary, especially where those parents posted on the bridge.
It wasn't on our
couple
bridge.
days.
Yeah.
the new one wasn't.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
So again, like whatever the board decides as they adopt this calendar, I'm good with on that one. But I mean, I went based on contract requirements and that date was one that made sense to me.
I say we leave it just like it is.
I'm gonna say that as soon as we adopt and it's actually all put together, that we put it out there as soon as possible. And we sort of mention, like, if we do a post or anything, that we mention, hey, don't forget, we do have school on this day, and this day, when you think you wouldn't, or whatever, yeah.
And there
That
are
might be an
multiple
idea.
options for getting it out. We can post it, we can, on the website, on Facebook, we can also do a mass email. I'll leave it to Bridget to direct.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be a good
You do
idea.
the marquees too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So.
So everybody like this calendar. We're going to go with this calendar, correct? I'll entertain a motion to accept the calendar.
I move that we accept the Glendale School District 25-26 calendar.
Second.
The first and second for the discussion. Ron, vote.
On you.
Cindy, yes.
Caroline, yes,
Justin, yes.
Tom, yes.
Good job, Bridget. I like it.
thank you.
Good job.
It's my goal to get it out before March.
2025, 2026 local services plan with the ESD.
I think the ESD has done a really good job. When I did my first year of this, it was like 37 pages. Just so you know, there are not a lot of changes and directions that they're making. Within the plan, I'm hoping that you have read it and are ready to, I recommend an approval of the service plan as it's outlined by the ESD.
My question is that our service plan or just their service plan for Douglas County?
Yes,
That's
their
Thank you.
service plan
Yeah.
for Douglas County.
correct, okay. I make a motion that we approve the ESD 2025-2026 local service plan for the ESD.
I'm sorry to interrupt. What, isn't there a dollar amount that we're supposed to have associated with this too, or no?
Okay,
No.
this
No.
is the one where we sign the contracts or where the doc.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
just what
just
they
their, this is their entire plan for the entire
Gotcha.
district.
Okay,
Yes.
thank
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
So we have a first. Do we have a second? Ron seconds. Vote.
On you.
Cindy, yes.
Caroline, yes.
Justin, yes.
Tom, yes.
Thank you.
This is what's up.
Yeah, you'll have to sign that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I only need the one
And it
signed.
forward.
I already got it signed and we're we'll send it in.
510, the mid-year assessment, I-ready results.
Okay, so the results that you're looking at in here are district level results. Devin gave you an overview of some of the success at the elementary. I'm giving you district level. So the first page on this reading assessment, overall typical progress for this point of the year should be at 50% or higher. For a district, we're at 63% overall. That's pretty nice. The other one that I really like on this page is when we look at the beginning of our school year, we had 4% of our kids in a meeting zone and are at the 1 year or above zone. Right now, we're at 13%. So we've done a 9% gain on the kids at our highest level. At the beginning of the year, we've maintained the 15% of meeting overall as a district. But going to the backside of that, we've dropped from 22 and 23% to 15 and 17% of kids that are still struggling at more than 1 year behind. And that's as a district at whole. So the two areas that I like to look at and pay close attention to is, are we gaining the green and are we losing the red? And in this case, it's very clear overall as a district, we are doing that. If you turn the page, the next one is in the area of math, and we hit that 50% mark on the nose. I'd like to see that really charge forward. And then if you look at the overall 11% meeting to 19% meeting in math, and we did have decreases in the red zones as well. It was 24 and 29% combined to 17 and 21% at the highest risk. Overall, we are making the progress. We just need to get over that lump and get those yellows more consistently to the red, to the greens right now.
So on the bottom, does that mean that the high school accounts for most of that growth?
At the bottom, there were some really strong gains in our middle school. Yes.
So that, like, if you were to just individualize the top graph between the two schools, you'd be 45% up here, 104% up here.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
And was that in the middle school you said?
Yeah. Our middle school really rocked their process this year. I was really excited to see.
Will we be separating that at all at any point?
I can. There is a struggle there because it's specific. It gets more and more specific to individuals. And so I try really hard in a public forum to do a group presentation versus individual progress.
Okay.
Do you mean separating middle school and high school?
High school.
Oh,
That's what I thought.
okay.
That's what I'm
Sorry.
talking about, yes.
Yes, I can look at doing that.
Okay, yeah, I was
Yeah.
going.
Huh?
Where's the percent net?
Right, I'll ask her after the meeting.
Okay.
What's the percent net? Like where it says 104% in high school net, or 104% growth, but 54% net? Does that mean 54?
54% are at grade level,
Okay.
104.
Bro, I get the growth part. I didn't know what the 50.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the typical growth model up above just tells you what percent are in each one of those categories of growing from 1 point to 100 points. And we are 31% of our district kids grew over 100%, which was nice.
Is there anything you attributed that to?
We have awesome teachers.
I
think,
That's fine.
no, I attribute it to the stability of our teaching staff right now. You asked how many kids, how many of our teachers were still in teaching programs? And when I started in this district at the elementary, 7 out of our 9 teachers were beginning in teaching programs, not necessarily being through the programs. We now only have 3 in the district that are still trying to develop that level of expertise. So the growth, I think, is the stability that we've had. We've been doing a lot of in-service, especially in the phonetic development and the reading and the early literacy gains. We've been doing a lot in writing and looking at writing across curriculum at the high school, that Tyler and Mary are using the same standards of expectations for our writing performances, and that's going across the high school. Honestly, last year was a struggle bus in our middle school. There's no other way to say that. The consistency within the instruction, the collaboration didn't happen. And this year we have 3 solid people that are having the same expectations, the same systems within place, and that they're collaborating with each other on the expectations. And I think that makes a huge difference. Would you guys add anything to that?
Having like standards and we are using the same words even in the classroom, so the kids are hearing them over and over and practicing it over and over, and they are by leaps and bounds getting better.
Yeah, I'd also say getting a 25% decrease in attendance over these last 2 years helps. Because when you have good teachers and then you get kids in front of those good teachers, that, because if your kids are here, right? And we've moved that bottom. The kids that are attending 50-60% of the time are very, very low. We're getting lots more regular attendance.
I would agree, I would add that too, yeah. So all of our markers and those, those 5 base markers that we look at in our longitudinal plan for our integrated, I think they all play a role, and we're making markers on each one of those. We went from 31% as regular attenders, so we're now 61% last year. I actually expect that to grow. I am hoping into the 70% range this year, or better. Yeah. I'm going to go 70.
We've hit 80, haven't we?
Yeah.
I mean, on an average.
Different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way they do the math for non-regular attenders is not the same number that he's reporting out on.
Oh,
good.
That was it's more complicated than that, but all of those things that we've been working hard on and that we've been focusing in on, and the other thing is we now have kids, even though I started this meeting saying we're on a little bit of a struggle bus with some of the behaviors right now. We have kids that are wanting to be in school and have started figuring out why school is important, and they will tell you. We have a student who looked at us and said, 3 years ago, I didn't think I was going to graduate high school, and he's getting ready to graduate this year.
that's what we want to hear.
Right?
Yeah.
But they're buying into why is this important, and that people care that they get through this process for their future. So I think a lot of the things that we've been doing have been playing into that.
But how many of them, that are looking forward to graduate now, do they have any focus towards going on with further education, either in,
Okay, so I'm going to
teaching.
clarify that. We have 3 levels of expectation there: future education, career development, technical, and military focus, right? And so when we look at our seniors right now, they are all like, what did I say? 21 out of 24 of our seniors were all 3-point and above right now in their GPAs. They're all looking at those 3 options. We have 2 kids I know of right now, 3 potential that are going into the military. Their ASVAB scores have been awesome, by the way. We're really proud of those. We have several kids that are going through our CTE program and looking at welding and looking at mechanics and looking at positions that we're training them for there. We have the 12 kids that we have in our CNA program that have job opportunities that are living wage opportunities. And then we have a good chunk of our high school seniors that are looking at post-secondary education through UCC or through a four-year college.
I had an idea, Bruce, I don't know how you would maybe implement it into what class, but alumni from the school district. We have, I know one girl that graduated probably 10 years ago, is a marine biologist. Now, you can become anything. You graduate high school, you go to school.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not my own kids, but I have my oldest daughter became a teacher, and she taught in a private high school in Bangkok, Thailand for 5 years. And when she came back here, she's now English second language. My oldest son is a project manager for Knife River. He went to OIT, got a civil engineering degree. Now, these are all things that these kids need to realize. Just because you go to Glendale doesn't mean that that's the end of the road. You can do anything.
And I'm gonna tout Tom here on this idea that we have implemented the U Science.
No.
And we have, this year is the first year we've had a full invested careers class that utilizes that material to support kids on their goals and developing plans for their future. Some of the things that Austin is doing beyond just like writing a resume. And by the way, I went in there when they were writing the resume and I said, oh, I updated mine, blah, blah, blah. And they went, we have to do this more than once. Sorry.
One more out there that I thought, he had kind of a rough time in school. Didn't have a lot of money.
Right.
Their senior trip, they went to Hawaii.
Yeah,
I
I
paid
heard
for
about
his,
that.
I paid for the way to go. Kid went in the service. I don't know how many years he spent in the military. He is now an administrator at a high school,
Right.
and he came.
Well, and maybe we could look at some of our assemblies from AFB, bringing in alumni.
Even if you could get, or if they could make it here.
Even a
do-
Zoom.
Do it on a Zoom.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah,
but they need to realize that you can be anything.
yeah.
We do have plans for the remaining 3 months of assemblies. Next month, we're doing a distractive driving assembly, which is a program that's actually paid for in the state, called Hang Up and Drive. In April, we're crossing your fingers, hoping Justin Jackson can try again. That may be one that if that falls through again, which we'd like to figure out later, that would be a great opportunity for that. And then in May, we are planning to have work with the sheriff's department to present at the UI a presentation. I've been advised it's a good idea to do before prom to kind of properly educate kids on taking that.
So I think I'm going to go beyond that and say maybe we can look at some opportunities, maybe even within classes, where we can have some people coming in and, because I do like that idea. I'm not sure the organization of it at this point.
Figure out
but-
how to make that, fit with a Zoom or have somebody.
Devin, did you have one more?
Yeah, just Scott was doing a great deal at the beginning, and we've grown a lot of Scott in these last few months. Something that Sutherland does is they do like a spotlight on alumni, and they do it every couple of weeks, and they put like a picture and then just a little article about what they're doing. They put that in their newsletter and on Facebook, and it's awesome just to see.
Like
Because
that.
they'll do kids that graduated 2 years ago, and you'll see what they do. But then you'll also have people who graduated, 10 or 15 years ago, and it'll be, they're further along in their career, or whatever.
That'd be awesome.
And that's kind of cool. But
Okay, we have another one.
I can't tell you.
Okay, I think we have a long meeting to do. I think we're kind of getting off.
So
Track here.
overall, we are progressing. What I always tell you, I want to see more. And I know teachers tell you the same thing. We want to see more.
Real quick question. I don't know if I missed it or what, but grade 5, 0. What is all that? On the second
Oh, yeah.
page.
That's an area that we are concentrating very heavily on right now.
Oh,
That's what I will say.
Okay, thank you.
and the typical growth was below the 50% on this. Do you want to speak to that?
The typical, that was impacted by the calculation of that one grade level.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. All right, so 5.11, the equity team meeting.
This is an interesting conversation.
5.12.
Okay, given our new directives. So the equity team is supposed to be in place by the fall of 2025. We had an initial meeting. It was a great meeting talking about areas of growth. We determined that our target was very specific to not a disaggregation of a particular group or section that is covered either under Title IX or such, that we really wanted to look at that we're meeting the needs of all students and how can we do that. We also had a really long discussion on expressing a need to look at diversity in a different way in our district and introducing kids to the concept of diversity, which is an inclusion-based model. Everybody deserves the education that, and everybody it shouldn't matter what you walk through the door with. Everybody deserves to be here. And how do we incorporate that within? We began some discussions. We talked about some data points that we want to look at. That being said, we had this meeting prior to the new federal administration, and there's a lot coming down from the state on this concept. We weren't real comfortable with the term equity anyway, because we believe in this district that every child, regardless of their needs, gets served the way they need to get served. And so we will be looking at the directions of the state of Oregon. I have been getting I've been getting directives from the federal Department of Education on the development of these kinds of teams that are contradictory to the state of Oregon laws at this point. And so right now, what I'm going to say is we're serving all kids at all times. We may not look at this team in the same way given a couple of months, and I'd like to give it a couple of months to see how things shake out.
I agree. I'd like to postpone anything with
I know
this.
where to go with it, guys.
Anything that has equity in its title right now is really being frowned upon. And when you're looking at the state versus fed, the federal.
On the flip side, I'm going to say the discussion that we had was powerful and meaningful, and the things that we talked about, I would like to stay at the forefront of things that we look for towards our future, because they were not specific.
And you may want to maybe change the name.
Yep.
So it doesn't throw any red flags,
I was
but
gonna
still
say
have the same
thing
goals in
that
mind.
We are gonna have to look at is that federal laws and regulations are federal laws and regulations, and state has to meet that or can be above and beyond that. So that's what has to be looked at. And in the long run, as long as Oregon meets the federal, then legally we are going to have to meet the state.
Right.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there,
And things will probably
Right, and
change
it's
one
gonna
way or another.
change no matter what, but it's just gonna be interesting.
I don't want to put us on, I don't want to put us out there as,
Mm-mm.
I think that if we postpone it for a few months, that would be the way to go.
and that I think is my recommendation.
I agree.
I agree.
I think the directions that you're getting or that I'm getting are convoluted at best. And,
Okay,
so that's kind of where we are. It's a sad place to say it, but that's where we are.
okay. 5.12, board meeting schedule change, 2 meetings in June, so July, we have everybody kind of liked the fact that we skipped July and had a month off. I think that was appreciated by many. So how does the board feel about doing it again this year?
The only thing that this year got in it, election. And don't they get sworn in July?
Well, they could get sworn in.
Yeah, they can't, they do not legally get sworn in until July 1st or after. After July 1st or before July 30th.
No, that's what I was gonna say, if you'd allow me to finish. I was gonna say that we could do it on the first meeting in August.
No, it has to be before July 31st or after July
It
1st.
has to be before July 31st.
According to our policy, yes,
Policy, okay.
yes.
Otherwise, I like the idea of it, but I think we need to make sure we're in compliance with that.
We do.
So
I don't care what it is in July for the most part.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say, I agree with Justin, is that we do have to have a July meeting this year.
I didn't,
Anytime we have elections, we have to.
Okay, so board meeting on July 16th.
you guys want to do the beginning or the end? Does that matter to Bridget or anybody else? No?
You said July 31st after that or no?
No, it has
Before
to
that.
be between July 1st and July 31st. Yeah.
If it matters to anybody,
Yeah.
if it's at the beginning or the end.
I
No, it
prefer
doesn't matter to
beginning.
me. Okay, I can't do it the night.
The beginning
Or
would
the
be the
second.
second, 2 days before 4th of July.
Um,
That's kind of a hectic time.
yeah.
People are leaving.
Yeah.
Uh,
I have UCC, we are doing all of our votes on the 9th, so.
Can we do it on the 30th? Which is the
Well,
last Wednesday of the month?
I'm saying, does it have to even be a Wednesday?
It does not, but the 30th is the last Wednesday of the month.
Well, if you'd rather have it closer to, we could do it the 7th, 8th, 10th or 11th. If you wanted to have it. She said earlier.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
So,
missed
yeah,
that.
she said earlier.
You know, but then I say earlier, we want to be gone by 4th of July, so whatever.
I will be out of town. Both Cindy and I will be out of town, but we can do it by Zoom. So it really doesn't matter which day.
Okay, so then let's keep it on the regular schedule.
On the 16th?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We need to vote on that or just no?
No,
No.
You only needed to vote if you were gonna make.
We're gonna
change it.
Yeah. ASB yearbook forum, we took care of that. Old business, board evaluations, discussion and action.
I do too.
So
We don't
we-
have to take action on it. We just need to see that the changes were complete, that we have the one board thing that's all together. We don't have to vote on it. We did it as a cooperation. Correct.
I reached out to Caroline after I had sent this out, just to clarify that there didn't have to be an action for evaluation, find out next steps, get clarification, but I had already sent this out, but by the red, dropped down.
Okay, so really nothing to do on it then? All right, we did it.
Yeah, we did it. It was just that she should have sent out, which you did, I believe, the one that said, this is 5 votes, 4 votes, or 2 votes. Or
Yeah, I think
one-
it is broken down.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The one,
it was
the
all-
form that
just one
That's
collaboration of
Yeah,
everybody.
Right. We have our singles,
Right here.
we have our singles, we have this, exactly.
We're
And
good.
then that and is all put together and correct, yes.
Pretty blue.
Yeah. and that's all put together and that it's all there. And we went through it already, and that's where the change needs to go. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Once again, my first time. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yep, yep,
I
yep.
don't like
Yeah.
not having them.
Okay.
Okay, 6.2, the superintendent position. I am going to move that until after we move back to regular session from the executive session that we have tonight, because it just makes more sense that way, not putting the cart before the horse. So we're gonna move that to move something on the
We're gonna
agenda.
vote on that because it's a change to the agenda.
We're not,
It's,
You're changing the
okay, all
order.
right.
yeah, it is.
All right, we're gonna
Because
change,
Usually people, if they saw this on the agenda before they would either stay for that or they may not have planned to stay until after our executive because it was on the before.
okay, well, then, really, okay, so let me go into why we're doing it. The superintendent position is we're looking at hiring a new full-time superintendent for the district after the end of the school year. Or we are looking at a part-time position, which can be filled by our current superintendent. If we vote on this now, we kind of, we also have, in the executive session, we are looking at the superintendent evaluation today. And
So why would we move that is my question.
well, depending on how the evaluation goes, whether we want to renew contract or not, it would just make more, what if we vote to not renew contract, then this whole thing is moot. That's why I wanted to put it till afterwards.
That's not part of the review.
I disagree with that,
I do too.
because the evaluation is evaluation based on the previous year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's whether to,
That, when we're doing the evaluation in the executive session, that's all we're doing is the evaluation. We are not discussing contract or anything else.
I thought that was the discussion about the contract, whether we wanted to renew the contract. No, for the 3 years?
No,
For the evaluation,
no, not in the evaluation. No, that is not done in the evaluation.
we're just evaluating her
All
performance.
right, then I am totally confused. And I apologize because I thought that's what we were doing.
No,
The
no.
Evaluation will do.
Evaluation is
Fill out.
just
Filled out this
evaluation.
form.
Bridget's like,
Right. Yeah, she's going, what?
I am totally blown away. Okay. My apologies to everybody.
Serve at the pleasure.
I'm going, what?
So let's start it.
I'm saying I need to go smoke.
6.2, the superintendent position.
Okay.
All right, let's go with
To
that.
me, it makes no difference when we discuss that.
All right,
Well, now that I know, now it does not make any difference. See, I was thinking we were
Yeah.
gonna,
Okay.
so now I hope you see my thought.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so.
I-
We're all on the same page.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Most-
Okay.
So what we had from last month was, should we look at getting a new superintendent, 100% full-time? Or should we go with the plan B for the, part-time superintendent? And we talked about it last month and gave everybody a month to think about it. And so what I'd like to do is I'd like to go around to each board member, have them give their thoughts or their preference and the reasoning behind it. And I will go around twice in case maybe Ron says something and then I go and I say something and then Ron goes, oh yeah, that's right. And he wants to talk about it. And if you have nothing to say on the second go around, just say, I'm good. So having said that, Ron, would you care to-
Vice chairman work our way down.
Yeah. Wow. Or you could be like, I'll go first. I don't care.
either one, it doesn't matter. We don't have to go in any kind of order. Go ahead.
So my personal opinion, if Bridget's willing to do it, I think that one of the biggest things this district has lacked is consistency. I feel like Bridget is a source of consistency. I think that Devin is a source of consistency. I think that, look at the grade school, look at what's happened this year. I feel like, even starting off from last year, you know, we've done well this year. I know that Freddie's been out a lot. That's kind of an inconsistency for the high school. But with him resigning and all the changes, you know, for me, even having a part-time superintendent with somebody that we know and are comfortable with would be better than going to finding somebody that we don't know. I'm not saying there's not somebody great out there, but I mean, how many superintendent positions have been open in the last year? And I just don't see us being at the top of anybody's list personally. And it would also maybe help out the budget too. You know, so.
Gotta throw them all in.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's really contingent on what Bridget wants / needs. It's really selfish of me to say that I want her to stay if she doesn't want to stay, but that's the page I'm on. I think that covers pretty much all of it without getting too crazy.
Well, before we go on, Bridget, are you willing to stay if it's a part-time
It's
position?
never been about a want, it's about a need.
I understand, but
Okay, I
are
just
you
want that
willing,
very clear.
are you willing to stay if, I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise we're just
Yeah.
exercising.
I have talked to all of you about
Yeah.
this individually and feel strongly that this is a foundation for me right now
Okay.
as well.
Thank you. Carla?
I did a lot of thinking on this, a lot. I was on the board when we had the part-time before. And the issues and the problems that we had at that time were immense. It was decided at that time that we really needed a full-time here to have a face. And the more I have seen what has happened with this school district within the last 5 years. Yeah, I was gonna say, this is her 5th year, yeah. In the last 5 years, and like what Justin said, is the consistency and knowing that we have somebody here that has the district in their, not just, it's in their heart. And these kids are in her heart as well. I think it's night and day as to personalities of before. And the only issues that I had with the whole thing was some of the superintendent's job with some of the reporting and everything else can get pretty darned overwhelming. But then with where we are standing right now, with looking at another inconsistency with another administrator not going to be here next year after, you know, it's like just one more thing. And I have decided within that for the best of this district, I think it would be best to keep Bridget here, because I honestly think that no matter what, she's going to give what she needs to and what she can. And if she needs to definitely have weekends off with no phone calls, no emails or whatever, that can happen. That is possible. So that's where I'm at.
Cindy?
Yeah, everything they said. I've never wavered my decision. I don't want her to go. If it's half-time, part-time, I know she's gonna give 100% no matter what. I don't have any ill feeling like, oh, well, what if she can't now? I've watched her. I've watched her enough to know that she can do the job, whether it's part-time, full-time, or 1 day a week, she'll get the job done. And I think we're pretty blessed to have that. So I wouldn't want to interrupt that whatsoever. I think it's important as a board that we accommodate her needs and that we support her and all work together doing what we're doing. That's it.
Ron?
Well, hate to use the same word consistency, but we know what we've got.
It is, it's a very
I got a
important
little, I
word.
got a little insight.
The kids like it.
Works here, you know, I hear it. And she's blowing you, Bridget, more, so she has, you know, more insight and information than she's given me. But as she said many times, you do care about the district, you do care about the student. And I would not want to go out and get somebody else. We don't know what we're gonna get. Look, if we're gonna have to have a new high school principal, so there's no continuity there. We have Devin who's done a great job and, but I just think at this time and if you say, you know, that's what you want to do, and we can make it work, like she said, you know, no phone calls on the weekend, we'll figure that out. But I would like to see you stay.
All right, well, I looked at it as, you know, I'm sad to see that Bridget has to be in this position, but it is what it is. And I had to look and see what is best for the district. And I agree with you guys that consistency is very important. And the fact that we're losing Freddie on top of that is very,
Even to the kids.
oh,
You
yeah.
know, it's not just us, it's the kids as
That's what
well,
I'm
yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
It's very disturbing to everybody. I read an article in Education Week that said changing the superintendent does not really have a marked effect on kids. For big school districts, smaller school districts, it's a different story. And I think Bridget has formed relationships with not only the teachers, but the kids and the board. So I'm in the same agreement with all you guys that I would like her to stay.
I think probably the biggest problem is holding her to halftime work. And that's gonna be something that like, you know, making sure that she's not,
So
Here.
my agreement is I will give what I can. Because, you know, there are times where, you and I talked about this a little bit, where the workload is a little more like this month. There's a lot of reports to do. There's a lot of expectations that I will not let go by the wayside. And so, by the way, my daughter has the same problem. She lectured me on it. But, you know, my heart is I will get the job done. And I will hold myself to what I need to do for my family, for Robert, as we walk this path for the next year. So,
I would also like to add that we should be as flexible as we can and not hold her to certain days, that we want flexibility built into it.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, you know, some days if you've got reports to do, you just tell Liz, whoever, that, you know, you're not available, turn your phone on, turn your cell phone on, pull the shade and do what you gotta do.
well,
She does.
that happens now.
Well,
She does.
well, that's cool.
Okay, I just want to go around again in case anybody has thought of anything second. Justin? Caroline? Cindy?
Good.
Ron? I have nothing else to say. So I will entertain a motion to move the superintendent's position from full-time to half-time.
Do we need to put a person's name in there or just the position itself?
I think just.
No, we need to put I make a motion that we allow Bridget, that we write up a new contract for Bridget that allows her to do part-time work as needed, as she feels fit for the school district.
Well, I think we have to make it
Well-
maybe a half-time position, but we give her the flexibility
To
to
make
flex.
that half-time,
Well, I think when you said to build a contract,
yeah.
that would be within the contract.
Yeah, it would be, we're gonna build a contract to meet
Halftime
the
with-
needs of the district and Bridget.
Great.
halftime
There we
with
go.
flexibility.
Yeah, Yeah, well, I make a motion that we work on building a contract for Bridget that will meet the needs of the district and Bridget.
There you go.
Accommodate.
I second it.
We have a first and a second. Further discussion. Vote.
On that.
Cindy, yes, I wanted to say abstain. but I didn't.
Caroline, yes.
Let's stay
Yes.
professional.
Tom, yes. All right. Moving on,
We love
AD
you.
funding for sports equipment. That was the next one.
Okay.
Have any other questions?
Okay, very good.
Well,
That was that high jump pit that he talked about earlier.
It came in at $6,000 something instead of 12,000.
He did it under the report, this elementary school
Okay.
teacher's report
okay,
or principal's report. 6.4, review board action time list, timelines, board goals, district goals.
I would really like to have numbered pages, so it's easier to find. I don't even care if they're like,
1A, 2A.
yeah,
I
Very
had
bad.
my druthers
Very,
do
very
it
bad.
color coded.
that,
Sure.
I like color coding.
Always very bad.
You're right, it is. Sorry, my understatement.
Yep,
So it looks for like March, you got renewal of teachers' contracts, but we already have that, correct?
We have to do that before March 15th. So it has to be this board meeting. Because our board meeting is after March.
Yeah, so we already did that.
We did.
We don't, okay, that's done. Select new budget members, that's next, and adopt the school calendar. We've already done that. So we've already lightened up everything for next month. Anybody have anything to add?
I'm gonna put to Liz that she needs to be actively pursuing budget members from the community. That's something new to her.
Okay.
Probably need to help with that.
Yeah.
if you want to
Reach out to you.
reach out, let me know.
We could probably get one from last year, couldn't we?
Well, they are automatically, our budget committee is 4 years, I
I think
believe.
so.
Yeah, it's 4
But-
years, yeah.
But I just know it's a new task and I want to make
Right,
sure she has.
Yeah.
For it.
Okay, 7.0, questions and questions from the audience. Anybody have any questions, further questions? Yes, ma'am?
I can't hear you. Thank you.
So our soft built bulk has been broken into and the doors from the frame. But
Oh,
they had to have a key to get into from the locked metal gate. So they take the lock, they've done it twice. We can't find anything that's been taken.
They're cutting a lock to get.
or they have a key and unlocking the lock,
Yeah.
or is lock disappeared? Okay, so how do we know they're not cutting the lock?
So we have been talking to Clint.
Well, Jack picked something and he's welding it on, but just so maybe we can try to get keys back. I mean, these were locked by
They-
different.
I think they did that this year pretty heavily, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because they.
I was gonna say, none of my
Yeah.
keys
No.
work anymore.
They rekeyed everything.
Yeah.
That was just
Yeah.
FYI.
I've been talking to Amelia about it as well. It's been an ongoing discussion.
Yeah, winter sports just ended on Saturday for a lot of their teams. We're getting them back, summer school going, so those are the outstanding ones.
We have signouts for keys, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
Very thorough process.
okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, but we also don't have a video out there to see who's in that
In there.
particular location.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah. Growth mind.
And that's
Yeah.
over here at the softball?
Oh,
Yeah, the one right by the road.
by the bus bar.
Okay.
There's a lot of shenanigans in that area. Isn't there?
I mean, there used to evidently be a camera up there in the corner.
There was.
And I don't know, just covered. And I just-
I'll ask Cameron, but,
Very least, with a trail cam.
yeah,
I'm sure that would work.
Yeah.
Catch you as they're in there.
They
Nobody's looking.
Uh,
Well, if it's somebody that has a key, it's kind of disturbing. We need to find out.
Yeah. Any other questions? Uh-huh. All right, we're gonna adjourn for 10 minutes and then we will come back and we will go into executive session.
I haven't heard that in 100 years. Yeah. You out of here? I am.
This shouldn't take too long.
It's been a long week. It's so funny how it's like.
Yeah, but they, but like you said, it's kids that have never been in.
Yeah, I know, what?
Yeah. One of the kids today, I was talking to her. So I feel like I need to go to every classroom and say, what's going on? Like, why are we doing this? Because it's really one of the kids. My team developed up a script for next week. Come on, guys. Get this together.
We're almost to that summer break here.
Right?
Oh, and they rekeyed after Jasmine Monster Keys, it probably just went in the general plan.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have been the concession stand on the, you know.
No, we
Because-
think we know where those keys.
Because,
Now, I mean, we're at a point where a lot of different places have different keys now. It's, yeah, but that is what I've been at, what I asked for this time. The first time we thought we